Alright, it's been 2 days since we installed the duck pond filter, and it's definitely working. It could definitely be better. So I actually got some stuff to upgrade this, but let's take a look at it and just see how it's doing. There's definitely some reduced flow. Let's take a look at the water and see how clean it is, or dirty. So this is 2 days. Whoa, watch your ducks. So you can tell there's a reduced flow after 2 days, so flow's a little bit less. The water is absolutely cleaner than it used to be after 2 days, but not nearly as good as I want it. So I could probably get another day out of this with this filter, but I've got some improvements that I'm going to do. So let's pop the lid on the filter and see what's in there. You can also check the level of it to see how much lower it is on that, because we know how much it was when we pop the lid on it. So let's see if we can, before I turn it off. Oh yeah, there's definitely some gook in there. See if I can get a shot of that. So it is definitely collecting stuff. When we first turned it on with a clean filter, the water level was probably about an inch and a half above that outlet fitting. Now it's just barely up to the top of the hole. Clearly a lot of crud collected on that filter. The day I made this, I wasn't too happy with how well it was cleaning the water. There was immediately crap coming out of it, so I found some other media. This stuff, and I'll show you how much more dense the new stuff is, but the stuff I found is actually a water filter material. Much more dense. I think it'll polish the water much more. It's going to give me a lot more back pressure, so I'm curious how that affects it. But if I hold this stuff up to the light versus the new stuff, you can see right through this. So I think it's going to be a much better filter. And I've got quite a bit of it, so I can do several layers if I want to. Another thing I want to do is I have some leftover engine sound deadening material, adhesive stuff that I want to put inside the pump box to quiet it down, see if I can silence some of the noise, because it's really noisy. Now I don't know if that's just the angle I have it, or if it was because it was having to pull so hard to get it out of there, but this tube is very flat, and it is kind of taking a pretty good bend right here where it goes through the cabinet, so it could be because of that. But so I might need to rearrange that, maybe even put a different hole over further so it doesn't have to turn at such a harsh angle. So yeah, take a look at that. But I'm going to put some sound deadener. I want to put some across the lid, and you can't get it too close to that pump because I don't want to block the ventilation, but get as much of that as I can around here to try to silence some of that noise. Where those holes are, those are getting plugged up, so I'm not using this the bottom layer very efficiently. So I think I need to put some sort of ribs or spacers to lift this up off of those holes so that I can get full flow through the whole filter. So when it goes up through that perforated section, the water will distribute then across the whole lower filter element, because that's not very efficient, and then it'll get plugged up a lot quicker and then give me a lot of back pressure. So that's not ideal, but good information. Perhaps start with a layer of this on the bottom and then do the finer stuff as it goes up. So this will capture the bigger stuff and the other ones will capture the smaller stuff. Keep those ones getting plugged up as quick. So here's the new, this is actually Aquarium filter. Let me see if I can give you a good demonstration of what it looks like. The light behind it, comparison. So here's the stuff we're using now, fairly porous. There's the new stuff. Clearly a lot more dense pack. So they describe this in the description as like a water polisher. So definitely going to catch more stuff. So I'm going to go with the old pads for the pre-filter and then switch to the denser pad. I think that will give us better performance. But I need to figure out how to hold this up off of that surface. That'll keep it centered so it doesn't move around. I think that'll work. Maybe I'll put these all down and then put a little rock on top of that. There, you can see how flattened that was, but that is right where it went through the bulkhead, so that might have contributed. So hopefully this will help that. There's some stuff I had used for my RV engine cover, just like a heat shield, but fairly dense, so I'm hoping this will deaden the sound some. Filter media does seem to be doing better. Oh, you know what? I think that that elbow and turn down I got in there creates a siphon that's sucking it out of the tank faster. Interesting. Maybe I want to put a T on that to not make a siphon. So that should keep it from pulling a siphon on it, and it won't suck it out of the tank. That way it'll actually flow up to the level like it used to. Before that siphon, I think it was sucking it all out of there. Yeah, it's not doing it anymore. Yeah, see how now it's coming up higher on the tank? And I decided to take that T and that downspout off. I kind of like that going off like that, and I can more easily see it when the flow decreases, and then I know the filter's getting kind of plugged up, so it'll be a better gauge. So I'm going to leave it like that. I will probably give everybody another update in another day or two. So I'm having a problem with this hose sucking flat. The suction, trying to pull it out of there, is sucking its hose flat. It's restricting my flow. So I need to get a stiffer hose for that, or hard plumb it with PVC or something. That's not going to work. Alright, let's wrap up this duck pond filter part 2. It's been, I don't know, a week or a week and a half, something like that. There's modifications. I added this reinforced hose because the suction was collapsing the old hose. This one here would just suck in and basically kink it, so we have a very limited flow. So I found this little 3-foot section of reinforced hose that'll handle suction. It's got a metal coil, if you can see it in there, and it increased the flow significantly. I actually had to throttle back the ball valve because it was flowing too much, and it was filling up my filter up to the top. It's still quite high, but good enough, and it doesn't overflow. But with that valve all the way open, it would even overflow it. The second generation modifications, I still have the original blue filter element at the bottom, and then 2 of the Aquarium filters, and then the lava rock. That's what I've been using for a while. It does work. I just dumped and refilled the pond, so it looks good right now. I just cleaned the filter, so everything's starting fresh right now. I haven't actually gotten a complete run with a clean pond and the newest upgraded filter with the newest hose, so I don't exactly know how many days I'm getting, but I do know for a fact that it significantly decreased the solids floating around in the pond. So I mean, it would get discolored, obviously, but it would collect all the solids, or a significant amount of them. You know, it used to be when you'd shoot the hose in there, clouds of the duck poop and stuff would float up, and that doesn't happen when the filter's running. It collects a lot of the solids in the filter, so it definitely makes it last a lot longer. So it certainly works. Do I think it's a necessary thing in this case? Probably not. The dump and fill is pretty easy with this little sump pump. If I had a bigger pond, so with a little sump pump in there, we just drop it in there. This is only 50 gallons, so it's not a big deal to dump it. This is more just for fun and just to prove the concept. It definitely works, definitely helps. It takes, you know, quite a bit of water to wash that out, and a lot more work. It's a lot harder to clean that filter out than it is to just throw a sump pump in this tank and dump it out, hose it out, and refill it. So if you're looking for less work, probably not really going to do that for you, because it's more work, but probably less frequently. So, you know, maybe once a week you got to dump it, clean the filter, and start fresh, rather than every couple of days for this size of pond. So it was a fun project. I'll probably keep using it most of the time, because it definitely keeps the chunks out of there, and the ducks seem to like it. They kind of play around in their little water feature. So I'll let it run for a while, but I think that's kind of a wrap. I may do an update later on after the thing's got some, you know, weeks or months of runtime on it, but I think I probably got about $100 into this thing, so it's not exactly cheap. I mean, if you had some of this stuff already, the pump was 50-60 bucks. The buckets, I had 2 buckets that I had to use for it. Those are, I don't know, $5-6 bucks a piece with the lid. A little bit of plumbing, which I already had. The hoses, that one hose was, that little white hose, it was, can't remember, it was 10 or 20 bucks. I'll put links into it. You know, 10, 20 bucks or 10, 15 bucks, I think, for that toolbox. So yeah, we're up, you know, in the $100 range, so not cheap. Doesn't really decrease your work other than just maybe making it less frequent that you have to clean it. So anyway, there you have it. It was a cool project. Definitely helps. And it was kind of fun. So thanks for watching. Take care.